Hello, this is Francis Roma with Logix ICF. This video is going to be the first in a series of videos on how to use the Logix Estimator. There's a lot of features in the Estimator, so we're going to break it down into smaller, shorter videos to make it easier to follow. This first one is just a quick overview of the Estimator so you get an idea of what it looks like and how it works. And then we'll follow it up with a demo to show you the more details and features and tips and tricks on how to use the estimator. So I've got the estimator open here. Before I go on, you can download the estimator off our website. So this is our homepage, logixicf.com. At the bottom you'll find three buttons. The fastest way is to click on the 1-minute estimator. And then you'll find a link at the very top here to download the full Logix estimator. We'll probably have a link in the YouTube videos as well that you can use to download the estimator too. Okay, so back to the estimator. There's basically two windows. There's the Logix estimator itself, where you enter your information in the project info and estimates sheets, and then we have the results window where you have where it calculates all your estimates basically. So I'll just go from the top to the bottom of the screen so I can thoroughly go over everything in here. You have some buttons at the top here. The one that we're going to look at right now is just the options button. Not a lot in there. The only thing it's got is a waste factor for ICF forms right now. So you can specify whether you want no waste factor, or if you want to base the area of the openings as the waste factor. So whatever your area of openings is, it'll calculate the number of blocks required to fill that opening and use that as your waste factor. Or you can specify it based on a percentage. So that is the user option for this screen. We have a little bar at the top here, top left. It says check for updates. Typically, the program will check for updates about every 2 weeks when you're using it, but if you want to check it yourself, just click on the button and it'll check for any updates. Okay, so under the project sheet, pretty straightforward. Just enter the information it's asking for: project information, customer information, author, the person doing the estimate, and labor and materials, which will base that on calculate your labor rates based on what you have under labor and materials. At the bottom here, there's a big gray bar. It's basically your tooltip bar, I guess. So as you're hovering your mouse over certain items, every now and then you'll get a tip here on what that feature is and explains what it does basically. On the right here, we have a navigation button, which basically just brings you to different sheets. So if you keep clicking on it, it brings me to the project estimates sheet. At the very bottom here, it'll give you a status on what file you're working on and whether it's been saved or not. Your version number will be on the far right, and on the far left you have a mail icon button. So if you click on that, it'll send us an email in case you have any questions that you want to ask us regarding the estimator via email. Okay, so that's the project info sheet. If we go to the estimates sheet, very top here, it's basically tells you what part of the building section you're working on. So on the left side, it's split into building parts and associated wall sections. So your building part could be your house. Your associated wall sections for your house could be your basement, your upper floors, for example. In this case, what I've done is I've organized it that our building part is basement, and in this example, I've got 3 different wall types for the basement. So that's how I broke it up for this example. Another building part I've got is upper floors, which has a first floor and a second floor. So whatever you're highlighting or selecting or working on, it'll show up in the upper bar here. So it's telling me I'm working on the upper floor upper floor building part, first floor wall section. So on the right side would be the wall section details that I enter for this wall section. Pretty straightforward. Just enter the information it's asking for. Corners, reinforcement, waterproofing, parging, and notes. The other tabs will allows you to enter information regarding any specialty blocks like brick ledges, transition, taper tops, any openings, and miscellaneous items, pilasters, and T-walls. And again, you can either click on these tabs or click the next button down here, and it kind of just navigates through all the tab sheets. All right, so that is basically where you enter all your information about your building part. Once you've got all that done, the only thing left to do really is click the report button, and that will start running the calculations for your estimates. So this is the results window. So as you can see, it gives you estimates for your pro forms, knockdown forms, any miscellaneous items it may have calculated, rebar, stirrups, concrete, bucks, waterproofing, form lock, bracing, zip ties or hooks, any custom items that you want to add, labor rates, and taxes. The very top here, we've got a couple buttons. Right now we're in the view results section. We could also go to the reports. As you can see, there's a number of different ways you can view the report, including being able to customize it. So this is just one example of the report, and I'll get into more detail on that in following videos. We also have a refresh calculate button, which will recalculate the items for you if you need it. A best fit button. Sometimes the columns may not fit properly, and if that's the case, instead of fiddling with it like this, you can simply click on the best fit button and it'll fix it for you. On the right side here, we have a couple of slide out tabs or sheets. The first one is cost summary, and if you want a quick glance at what the costs are for each item that it's estimated, then you could look at it under the cost summary. If you need to adjust costs, you can do that with this slide out tab. So you can either mark up the cost by a percentage or a dollar amount and specify what you want to mark up. Each of these tab sheets has its own unit prices at the bottom, and this is where you can enter your unit prices. If you have more than one region or more than one unit price based on a region, for example, you can save it. So you can save as many unit prices as you want and load it up as you need it. And that is pretty much it for the results section. So I showed you the results window and where we enter information in the estimates itself. The following videos, we're going to get into a demo on how to actually use the estimator. So that's it for a quick overview of the estimator, and we'll sign off from here.